Coming up on WFT's First at 5, Florida's top education leaders praising the success of a new school testing system, why they say the program will continue to better student performance.
And as travel increases for the holiday, law enforcement officials are changing plans to help keep drivers safe, why they say it's important to put more troopers and officers on the highways.
And the radar is clear for now, but that could soon change. The UF weather team has your holiday forecast ahead. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5 from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications. You're watching WUFT News.
Results are in from Florida's second year of a new standardized testing program in public schools. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Charlize Ramos.
And I'm Noelimary Suarez. And several counties, including Marion, have reported seeing progress in student scores from the previous year. The data from the Florida Assessment of Student Thinking, or FAST, shows students are learning and mastering skills better than under the previous system. Florida Department of Education Commissioner Manny Diaz Jr. says that's because teachers can detect earlier when students are falling behind and can adjust their teaching.
This allows everybody to have the data. Parents are more engaged in the performance of their students. And so we've heard incredible feedback, not only from the teachers, but from our principals and superintendents on the progress monitoring system.
According to a release, FAST differs from traditional state testing at the end of the year and instead provides teachers, students, and parents with a real-time, immediate, and actionable data at the beginning, middle, and end of the school year to student improvement. Florida was the first state in the country to make the switch.
It's been dry for much of the day as we take a live look at Paynes Prairie from our DOT camera. The UF weather team is tracking an uptick in storms moving our way that could impact your holiday plans. One system that won't have any impacts to Florida is the dangerous Hurricane Beryl. But that's not stopping UF forecaster Rydberg from monitoring where the storm is headed after moving through the Caribbean.
Record-breaking Hurricane Beryl is still going through the Caribbean. Last night, Hurricane Beryl made history as being the strongest hurricane for this early in the season. Right now, the winds sustained at 155 miles per hour, with it moving west-northwest at 22 miles per hour. Looking at Century Tower, however, right now, we can see some dark clouds right above, a little bit of rain in the distance. The temperature right now, 86 degrees, 97 as it feels like temperature. Looking at our storm tracker, we can see a couple storms starting to develop a little bit more into that intense rain that we can expect for later tonight. Zooming into the Gainesville regional area, we can see the storms coming in from the northeast, and we can expect those showers coming in again later tonight. Now, coming up for our weekend, we can see tracking the tropics, Hurricane Beryl, as well as discussing the stalling front that is causing these rains that we can expect tonight, as well as an outlook to our 4th of July.
Independence Day events are starting to kick off around North Central Florida. Guests can enjoy WFT's fanfares and fireworks tomorrow evening. It starts at 6 p.m. Wednesday evening at Flavitt Field on the UF campus. That's on Woodlawn Drive. Guests can enjoy food trucks, live music, and fireworks. The event is free, but if you can't make it, you can always watch the fireworks on WFT.org/fireworks. It will be a first show of its kind in Ocala on Thursday. This year, the city will host Patriotic Skies, a 4th of July drone experience taking place this Thursday at Tuscaloosa Park. The event is 5 to 10 p.m. and will feature 300 drones, musical guests, and food trucks. It is for all ages and it's free to attend. And in the city of Alachua, leaders are hosting what they call the largest small-town fireworks display in America. Neighbors can enjoy live music, food trucks, and a show. They're asking not to bring any of your own fireworks and be sure to leave your pets at home. The gates at Legacy Park open at 5 p.m. and admission is free.
Extra state troopers will be patrolling Florida roads this week with an estimated 4 million Floridians driving more than 50 miles as they travel for Independence Day vacations. The Florida Highway Patrol will be making sure those driving during the busiest summer holiday get to and from their destinations safely. They'll be focusing on speeders, aggressive drivers, and those impaired by drugs or alcohol. FHP Lieutenant Jim Buford says his best advice for travelers is to leave early and slow down.
We definitely want everyone to keep their cool on the roadways, be patient, be courteous. Just be kind to the other motorists out there. Just remember, everyone's trying to get to their destination. Many people are going to visit family and friends. We all want to make sure everyone gets there safely.
Buford is also reminding drivers to get plenty of rest and check their vehicle maintenance before traveling long distances.
Parents in Columbia County now have a designated area for safe child custody exchanges. House Bill 385 went into effect in Florida on Monday. It provides designated safe zones for those exchanges. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office posted these pictures on their Facebook page of the designated parking spaces at their operations center. They say it is on the side of the building located on Highway 90 East. Deputies say the area is under 24/7 surveillance.
And the city of Gainesville is launching a new 30-minute show. GNV on the Move will premiere this Saturday at 8 p.m. on the Community Channel. That's Cox Cable Channel 12. According to a release, the program will feature segments about current initiatives, events, and staff. The show will air the first Saturday of each month and also be broadcast on the city's YouTube channel.
First responders in Marion County now have a tool to care for patients needing critical care. MCFR posted these pictures on their new critical care truck on their Facebook page today. The vehicle is equipped with medical equipment to transport patients with serious conditions. Fire Chief James Banta thanks the Marion County Board of County Commissioners for constantly prioritizing public safety. MCFR leaders say that they are committed to enhancing its emergency medical services and supporting the community with the best resources.
Coming up next, when First at 5 returns, Hurricane Beryl makes history and badly damaging island countries as it heads towards Mexico. How popular tourist destinations are preparing for the Category 5 storm.
And while Beryl won't have direct impacts on the U.S., the storm will likely hurt Americans at the gas pumps. How soon drivers could see an increase in gas prices.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Beryl is back down to a Category 4 hurricane after briefly gaining Category 5 strength earlier today. And it's the earliest of that strength on record in the Atlantic. The storm continues to make its way through the Caribbean, leaving devastation behind. Beryl is also the earliest major hurricane to hit Barbados in nearly 60 years. The National Hurricane Center says it's been getting stronger, hitting St. Vincent, Barbados, and other places as a Cat 4. Before strengthening to a Category 5 last night. Neighbors in the island country of Barbados say they can't believe the devastation the storm has caused.
This is madness. I have never seen this in my 46 years of life. There's nothing more we can do but stand and watch total destruction. Our livelihood going down the drain.
Beryl is expected to impact Haiti and the Dominican Republic beginning today. It could eventually hit Mexico, eyeing the tourist city of Cancun. That community is getting ready to use schools as shelters.
Hurricane Beryl could cause a rise in U.S. gas prices. While the storm doesn't pose a major threat to the U.S., experts predict it will eventually impact oil prices. That's because the National Hurricane Center is forecasting shift in the storm's path that could disrupt oil refineries in Texas. Experts also expect Hurricane Beryl to shut down oil tankers sending crude to Gulf Coast refineries, and that loss of Mexican oil could temporarily boost gas prices. Experts are predicting a spike of 5 to 10 cents a gallon over the next week.
Just one day after the Supreme Court's historic ruling on presidential immunity, the candidates are back on the trail working up to shore up votes. President Biden turned to addressing climate change, while former President Trump is looking to have his hush money trial conviction thrown out. Alice Barr has more from the campaign trail.
President Biden announcing new regulations to protect workers from dangerous heat as he seeks to refocus on the job and lower the temperature on post-debate criticism. Texas Representative Lloyd Doggett now the first Democrat to officially call on him to end his re-election bid. Party leaders publicly standing by the president.
I want this ticket to continue to be Biden-Harris,
while underscoring the deep internal concerns over a second Trump presidency.
This is something that is undermining our democracy, and he must be stopped.
President Biden sought to highlight the stakes last night after the Supreme Court's decision granting presidents broad protection from prosecution for any official acts while in office, a ruling the Trump legal team is now using to delay next week's sentencing hearing, arguing the former president's hush money conviction should be thrown out because while he was a private citizen for much of the conduct, the trial did include evidence from his time in office. Mr. Trump riding a good week with post-debate polls suggesting a small shift in his favor, though it's early to know for sure.
3 polls now in 24 hours, and I don't think you'd classify any of them as reassuring for the Biden campaign.
NBC News obtained audio from a conference call last night as the Biden campaign looks to reassure anxious donors.
Everyone just needs to breathe through the nose for a minute and take a deep breath.
Many now urging more unscripted appearances from President Biden.
If they're saying, no, there is nothing wrong, there is no actual cognitive decline, then show us that. That's what the American people want to see.
As debate ramps up over the path forward. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And the Biden administration is proposing a new rule that addresses excessive heat in the workplace. The new policy details how workers develop heat illness and how employers should respond to keep employees safe. It also includes requirements to identify heat hazards. This comes as millions of Americans are under extreme heat warnings and advisories. If finalized, the rule will protect an estimated 36 million workers from heat-related injuries. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the Federal Emergency Management Agency also announced it will award nearly $1 billion for more than 650 climate resilience projects.
Strong showers making their way into north central Florida now. I will be looking into how they're going to affect your holiday next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Record Hurricane Beryl is making its way through the Caribbean. Now, this hurricane has actually broken the record by being the strongest hurricane ever recorded for this time of year. Right now, winds are sustained at 155 miles per hour, and it is moving west-northwest at 22 miles per hour. While we track the storm, we can see again it's moving through the Caribbean as of Tuesday this afternoon. It is a Category 4 with winds again at 155 miles per hour. As we move through the week, however, we can expect it to make landfall in Jamaica on Wednesday, again in the afternoon with 125 miles per hour winds, making it a Category 3. Now, as we go later into the week, around Friday, we can expect it to hit the Yucatan Peninsula right around a Category 1. As we, again, go deeper into the week onto Saturday, this is where the track gets a little bit more uncertain about both the strength and the intensity. It is advised that you listen to local officials as we go through the week. Now, this system isn't the only system that's exciting in the Caribbean. Again, we have another low chance of a current scatter of storms to develop into a tropical depression. Bringing it back a little bit closer to home, we can see storms just starting to come into Florida. Zooming again more into north central Florida, we see these storms beginning to develop a little bit more intensely. As we go into the night through our storm tracker, we can see right around 8 p.m. is when we can expect the real intense heavy rain right across the eastern side. As we move into 8 p.m., we can see these storms starting to move off east into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, for tomorrow, we can expect a hot one with temperatures reaching up to 92, with our top line indicating our feels like temperatures, very humid and very hot. Pack a water bottle. Going into our events in Flavitz Field, we can see our fanfares and firework festival. 5 p.m., we can expect scattered thunderstorms right around 91 degrees, and as we go into the night, the skies should clear right around 11 p.m. at 80 degrees. Now, for our outlook on the week, we can see the temperatures still in the mid-90s with our chance of rain pretty high throughout the week. I would suggest packing an umbrella.
Coming up after the break, we're just weeks away from the 2024 Olympics, and Paris is working overtime to ensure the Olympians are comfortable. How they're hosting the biggest sporting event of the year, all while keeping climate change at the forefront of their planning. We'll be right back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
The Olympic and Paralympic Games in Paris will host many athletes and fans. They're preparing to serve more than 13 million meals. The Athletes Village alone will prepare 40,000 meals every day.
And all that food could have a major impact on the planet if the Olympics didn't rethink what it means to be green. National climate reporter Chase Kane shows us how Paris 2024 is cooking up climate change in the kitchen.
The scenery changes quickly as you drive out of Paris, and it's here, the French countryside. which holds a big key to these Olympics quite literally going green.
Qui est immense et qui repose principalement.
We met the president of Paris 2024 and Olympic gold medalist at a potato farm, talking about meals for the Summer Games. That's because, according to the UN, 1/3 of global emissions can be linked to food.
And that's why we took into considerations all the main aspects of the project where we have a huge contribution. So we decided to develop the vegetable part of those meals to reduce the carbon footprint. We decided to have local food also served.
Sourcing 80% of all meals for athletes, staff, and fans from within France.
Getting the food from these farms to the Olympics is another important piece of keeping emissions low. About 1/4 of the farms are within 150 miles of Paris, but no matter how far away they are, all of the food is going to be delivered to the games using electric or green hydrogen trucks, all clean energy vehicles.
Paris 2024 worked with athletes and French chefs to create more than 500 recipes for the games, and 60% of them are entirely plant-based, which drastically reduces their carbon footprint.
How do you get this to have a lasting impact once the Olympics are over?
I think it all comes down to sharing knowledge, sharing data, but you have to do a lot of communication. You have to take the people by the hands, your own staff, your own volunteers, the public, general public, and explain them. The vegan, the vegetarian offer can be a really pleasant one, a really rich one.
And that's something many Olympic athletes already understand.
Just this clean eating kind of obsession where, like, I like sweets.
During a conversation about French cuisine, Team USA divers emphasized the importance of food selection on their performance and for the planet.
For me, a lot of it is, what is my body telling me that I need? And does it need fruit? Does it need some kind of protein? Does it need more water? And I really try to do as much from the earth as possible. So trying to avoid processed food, it's really hard in America to do that.
But once they're in France, Olympic athletes may very well be eating potatoes from this farm. And for an athlete, knowing where their food comes from and that it's healthy will bring even more confidence when they compete, as the Summer Olympics begin July 26th on NBC. In Villeroy, France, I'm National Climate Reporter Chase Kane.
Paris 2024 also left a little wiggle room in their plans for athletes and coaches to bring some comfort food from home. Up to 20% of the team's meals can come from outside France.
You know, I'm glad they're focusing on the environment by bringing things in locally from France, but I would also want to bring in something from home.
I have to agree with you. Now, speaking of home, let's take a last look at the weather.
For our week, we can expect temperatures in the mid-90s as well as a large chance of rain throughout the week. I would suggest packing an umbrella.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on WFT.org and all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.